was a really good win for us on Saturday. Our guys needed to get back on track, and we needed to play an entire football game and be more consistent in what we were doing. And we got to play everybody. Guys played well and accomplished the goals that we had. Our turnovers were 3 for Iowa State. We gained 3 and lost none, which is something that we have been preaching, but for some reason had trouble gaining. Our explosive plays were 11-3, which was really, really exciting for us. We had a lot of big plays offensively and held them to 3 points and kept their big plays to a minimum. And we won all 3 phases of the kicking game, even though it was about field position more than us accomplishing exactly what we wanted to in the kicking game. We also had a defensive touchdown, and that's something that not only with the turnover but scoring on defense is something we've done. I thought the guys played with a lot of energy and they had a lot of fun, which was good to see. It was a lot better in the dressing room than in the last couple of weeks. When we've won the explosive plays and turnovers in a game, we're 58-0. When we've lost them, we're 1-16, and usually those come with energy and excitement, and we felt like the players accomplished all those things up in Ames, and it was good to be able to win on the road too, to show that they can bounce back and do well. Offensively, we were really good on first down. We were effective 62% of the time. We didn't have a turnover offensively. We asked our team to start fast and finish fast, and we felt like they did. Even when our storm unit, which is our second unit, came in the late third and fourth quarter, they did well. We did put them in the third series of the game and just had 1 first down, and we've challenged them. It was an entire freshman and redshirt freshman group, but if we're going to put them in a game, we expect them to score, just like the first unit. So we did challenge those guys that we'll have to decide each week whether we're going to continue to put them in, because we had not finished the last 2 games like we wanted to, and we thought we needed to play more people early in the ball game to try to wear the other team down, and it was effective Saturday. But all of a sudden you're looking up with 14-3. Iowa State's just scored. You send your entire second unit in the ball game, and they don't score. They punt Iowa State, and it could have stopped the momentum of Colt in the first bunch, but it didn't. Colt played, I think, maybe the best game since he's been here. If you look at his progress during and after Oklahoma last year, he got much better until he got hurt at Kansas State, and that's something that we saw him do at Oklahoma. He had the 2 touchdowns, and really the interception wasn't his. It went through somebody's hands and was intercepted. But Saturday he was as good scrambling and eyes downfield and pulling people from Iowa State out of coverage and hitting them on the run. And that's what we'll look forward to continuing to see with Colt in the future. Chris Hall continues to amaze us. He played 4 of the 5 positions up front and played really, really well again. Adam Ulatowski was the offensive lineman of the week. And he's been amazing that he's played with a dislocated elbow. He's played with a hurt knee, and he's played with a lot of toughness. Receivers blocked really well downfield. Quan had 2 great blocks on the touchdown run for Jamal and the touchdown run for Colt. And so we feel like that we're making progress in the downfield blocking, and we really felt like that we were pleased with Jamal and we were pleased with Jermichael in that their attitude in the dressing room was the same as if they had touched the ball every time and they didn't get as many touches. So we feel like that we're making some progress on the team concept. Defensively, we had the 3 takeaways. The guys really worked hard at it last week. We always work at it, but we felt like even more so last week just to make an emphasis that we had to get that attitude turned back. And we said we hope they come in bunches. They usually do, and we're looking forward to that. We did score on defense, which was great. The defense forced a lot of short fields and gave the offense a chance to have good field position and score. Brandon Foster has now set a record. He'll be in the record books at Texas for the rest of his life, and that's exciting for him. He's come a long way. We held Iowa State to 3.6 yards per pass attempt, which is really good when you look at their receiving core and what Brett Meyer's been able to do as their leading passer in school history. They moved the ball the first two series, and I thought Dwayne, the defensive staff, did a great job of making some adjustments. They came up with some new formations on us and outnumbered us a couple of times on the option, a few runs, had a couple of trick plays. So in the first 27 plays, we gave up 145 yards. The last 11 drives, we only gave up 83 yards, and I think it was 62 yards for the second half. So the guys played really, really well after the initial part. I thought they played hard early, but Iowa State got us in a couple of tough formations and got after us. We were really, really pleased that when the attack defense, which is the second defense, came in the game, they kept them out of the end zone as well. And that's something that you always worry about, but we played them more than the first defense. And I thought the 4th and 2 stand at the end of the game was great about attitude and toughness and making sure that they played throughout the ball game. We mentioned Brandon Foster. We played everybody that traveled, that could play. Derek Loki played 3 positions. He played defensive end. He played defensive tackle. He was all over the field, but he also played fullback. And Brian Arakpo was back more near himself. He made a couple of great plays on the quarterback. He makes a super play knocking the pitch on the option out of bounds down around the goal line, so hopefully he continues to get better. Our running game was what we wanted it to be when we needed it to be. We ran the ball really well in short yardage, and we ran it well in goal line. And that's what we've talked about since we've been here. We've said we're getting out of the stat game, and we're getting into the only stat that really matters is winning, and it is true. But we felt like our short yardage and goal line running was much better and what we needed to be. This week we go to Baylor. They threw for over 300 yards against us last year. They have incorporated an offense very much like Texas Tech's. You go back and look at their Colorado game right after Colorado shut Oklahoma down offensively. For Oklahoma's standard, you go the next week and Baylor throws for over 423 yards, and they scored 31 points against us last year, and this will be a great test for our secondary because they protect well and they throw the ball down the field. Questions? Okay.
Coach, will you just talk about Jordan Shipley's performance, and is he coming back more healthy than you've seen him in a while?
We thought Billy Pittman and Jordan played really, really well, and Billy's well and now has gotten back into the rhythm of playing, and the same with Jordan. So we were pleased with both of them. I guess Jordan's caught touchdown passes the last 2 weeks, and we had a little formation issue early in the game there because Quan's playing 2 or 3 different places, but we're moving all the guys around, and those 4 guys are playing, and Colt's done a great job of getting the ball to them. But we're really, really happy to see Jordan healthy for the first time probably since he's been here, and to see Billy back healthy and playing. He made a great catch on the sideline. In fact, during the ball game, I thought Billy was the one that made the touchdown catch that was so good in the end zone. It was Quan. I couldn't even see because it was in the corner, and they were all hugging each other coming off. And I told Billy, great play, and he looked at me kind of funny. So I didn't realize till I got home and watched the film that I had to text Billy and say, sorry, it wasn't you. I was excited for Quan.
Coach, with kind of going on that wide receiver thing, it's good to get all that substitution in there, but do you think it's still some continuity and confidence that needs to be built within the starters on offense?
No, we just need to continue what we did Saturday. They played great on Saturday. It's the best timing we've had in a passing game in a long time. It's what we've been looking for all year, and now we've got to just continue to do the same thing. What we said after the game is this team cannot take a deep breath and relax and feel entitlement. They've got to get better. We have not been a great football team. We haven't been consistent, so we have got to improve each week. And really, this part of the season is more about us than it is who we're playing, because we've shown signs of being good. Saturday, we finally put it all together, but we got to do it again this weekend.
Coach, what's changed though these past 2 weeks? Because they do seem like a whole different team.
Well, we probably have put a lot of pressure on them to get better and correct the things that we need to correct. And even though there's some seniors on this team, a lot of them hadn't played very much. and they should improve, and our teams basically improve throughout the year. So offensive line's more healthy now than they've been throughout the year, and they're inexperienced. The secondary seems to be getting better each week, and that's a real key for us. And our poor defensive ends, I wouldn't even play there. There have been so many of those guys hurt. So, but getting Rack back helps. It helps with leadership. It helps with the attitude, and most of those guys played Saturday. In fact, I think we played 5 or 6 ends, so that's helping us get back on track some.
Now, how much do you think of what Colt's done the last 2 games as kind of an answer to K-State, and just the fact that everyone around seems to be playing, at a good level chemistry-wise?
Well, K-State fourth quarter was kind of a bottom out for us, and it was okay. Let's look at it here. We're not playing well, period. I mean, we've had some good plays. We've had some good quarters. We haven't had a good game in our mind. Maybe Rice. And as we said, we were better than Rice at that time, and Rice's offense is really scoring a lot of points. So we probably played better on defense that night than we even thought at the time. But what we said after that game is let's start over, period. I mean, let's go back and look at individualism. Let's go back, and we have to be team. You have to be unselfish. We got to look at who we are and what we're doing, and figure it out. And that's one thing we've done around here. We make really hard decisions when things aren't going like we want them to, and there's a tremendous amount of pride in this team, and we talk to the seniors about you're going to be remembered for this season whether you like it or not, so you better finish it like you need to, and they've responded to that really well.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the development and the growth of Ryan Palmer and Brandon Foster?
Yes, they didn't play very much, and some of it because of the 5 guys that are in the NFL now and had played really well, but some of it too because of injuries. Ryan's overcome a knee operation, and Brandon had a lot of pulled hamstrings through his time here, and they were really good special teams players, and Ryan made some great plays for us out at Texas Tech last year when he was put in a nickel situation. But it was kind of their time, and we've got Ryan back next year, and hopefully Brandon will get a chance to play in the NFL. But Brandon's got a great knack of breaking on the ball, and Ryan had 2 opportunities maybe Saturday to get the ball in his hands on interceptions. But we were really concerned about the height of the Iowa State receivers on our shorter corners, and the guys really stood up and played well. So we're really proud of them.
About that excitement and energy, you said there was even more of it in the locker room this time. Was there anything in particular that spurred that, or just maybe took this team a little bit longer to gel?
No, they've had it some. It's this team lives in the shadows of expectations from 2 years ago and last year, and when you don't blow out a team you're supposed to around here, they feel that. They feel like they got to win every game by a whole lot of points, and that's not fair to them. There's more parity. This team's not as experienced, and because of that, this team just needs to worry about winning. They don't need to worry about the expectation of anything except winning a game. And we told them, you look around the country, we're not good enough to win any game unless we play with energy, unless we play tough, and unless we play well. We can lose the rest of the games or we can win the rest of the games based on how we play. And there's been some times around here we were good enough to play bad and still win. We can't do that right now, and that's a good time for them to realize that. And I think the difference in early in the season and now is they've looked around and they see all the things that we've all seen, and they understand that there's more parity than we all thought there was, and they understand that we're not as experienced in key positions, so we have to play well. They also saw what we can do when we protect Colt. Everybody gets on Colt. It's obvious when he gets time to throw. He's really good and really accurate. And I thought Saturday and some against Oklahoma and Saturday were what we saw in two-a-days. We saw him that way every day. He didn't miss a pass hardly in two-a-days. And I thought he would be that way every play, and then we didn't protect him as well as we needed to. So hopefully now we are on track, and he can continue to have the time he had Saturday. And, boy, was he good. He just didn't miss. In fact, there was a low pass to Nate that was really open on a blitz, and he might have thrown a couple away, but I mean he was really, really accurate.
Coach, can you talk about the play where he scrambled out, spun, did just about everything, and then stood up and found Nate?
Yeah, he's really getting a presence about where that line of scrimmage is, and we've talked a lot about Vince's plays. When Vince got really good, Vince could threaten the run, and when people came out of the secondary, he would throw the ball downfield, and Colt's starting to get that feel now. And he did it some in high school, but for the defensive back to think he was down and leave Nate, and the most amazing thing to me wasn't him getting out of the tackle. The most amazing thing was how quickly he looked up. He was aware of where his receivers were. He found Nate, had the quick release, and got rid of the ball and got hit. And he didn't even know. He heard a cheer. He didn't know if it was us or them at that time. And I thought that was the most amazing thing. He has a great feel of where people are if we'll just give him time. Now, the players were really giving him a rough time about how long it took him on the 44-yard run to score. They said they thought he was trying to kill the third quarter. So it was a tough time on the sideline. And they also said he was winded because that's the first time he's run that far. So they were giving him a rough time.
Coach, he's had several ad-lib plays like that this year, like the pass play. Is that because of growth? How impressed are you by that?
Really impressed. It's what we saw Vince do. That Arkansas game, I'll never forget. Vince is going down. He throws it out to Cedric Benson, and that's a sack 99% of the time, and we score. I think it's maturity, more experience, and more strength. He probably couldn't have pulled out of that tackle where he threw the ball to Nate last year because he would have been sacked and would have come down easy. And we were really impressed by his run on the option. So he's just getting stronger. He's getting mentally stronger. You're never sure how much the injury at Kansas State and Iowa State stuck in his mind early in the year, and now it looks like to me that he's relaxed and moving forward and playing with the aggressiveness that he did this time last year.
Can you just tell when the game slows down for somebody
Yes.
in their eyes?
Yeah, and it's something we all talk about, but it's real. And they used to talk about Michael Jordan and the great ones that the game really slows down for, and obviously Vince was that way, and you look at Chris Sims, it got that way, and we thought he should have redshirted probably because quarterbacks are better when they get a chance to redshirt. And it happened for Colt after Oklahoma last year, and then after he got hurt, it probably speeded up again a little bit just because things around him and nervousness and not sure of his shoulder. Even the first half at Iowa, he didn't play like we knew he could play. He came back and did a good job the second half, but I think we're seeing that now again. We're seeing him with confidence. We're seeing him in total control of the game, him standing up in the dressing room at Oklahoma after the game and addressing the team with confidence, showed leadership. It's the first time I've ever heard him do that in that setting, and he was really aggressive with them. And I thought he had fun Saturday, but he was aggressive again with the entire thing. The first play of the game, a lot of players don't find a guy wide open when they're scrambling. They just run. And now he is looking downfield as he moves forward so he can pump it and run, or he's got the ability to throw it deep, and that just gives you an extra running back in the backfield when he's got the ability to scramble.
Mack, you talked after Saturday that when you hit first with Jordan, you were worried maybe the guys are going to think, all right, this is going to get too easy too quick. Is that kind of the same approach now that you put a full game together and you've got a Baylor team that's been struggling and you have to remind them that it may not be that easy Saturday?
Well, it won't be, and especially right after Baylor had a tough game at Kansas. I mean, Baylor wasn't happy with their game. They're going to come back, and they've played better at home than they have on the road. They did give Colorado a great game at home. They've won 2 games at home. So we fully expect – I've told our guys, expect every game to be really close. Expect every game that we get the bad breaks, that the officials' calls go against us, and you still have to come back and win. Expect to be behind. We were behind 10-0 in this game last year, and they scored on the first play of the game on an isolation deep post on a very veteran secondary. So we have to understand that, again, our team is not one that can ever expect just to walk out there and roll the helmets out and win. We have to play with energy. We have to play well. We have to have fun, and we have to keep playing because now anymore anything can happen, and we've seen that.
You just touch on that quarterback quickly. He does have a pretty quick strike mentality.
He does. He's going up the charts for them. They're running Texas Tech's offense, and he's been very accurate. He's thrown 15 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, and he's a guy that can put it on you if you're not ready to go. So we've got to continue to get pressure. It's such a different offense than we've seen. Again, we'll see it now, and we'll see it against Texas Tech in a few weeks, but they spread them out so much. the defensive coaches have a real challenge because you have to change the things you're doing. You have to look at nickel and dime as compared to a very physical up inside running game. It'll be a fun week for our secondary and defense, but a challenging week for our coaches and the guys. And for our bunch to have given up 31 points against them last year, it should be exciting for us to have the challenge to play better against that offense than we did last year.
Exciting for the defense because Baylor seems to have turnover problems?
No, exciting for the defense because front guys like to rush the passer. They don't like the old in the trenches all the time. They love to rush the passer, and they're going to throw it a bunch. Linebackers love to drop and hit people and try to get their hands on balls, and secondary guys, what can be better than having a bunch of balls thrown in your area? That's what they want. So we have to continue to try to force the turnovers, but I think the guys really take a challenge when somebody's going to throw it most of the time, and they just like it because it's different.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, folks.